race car spelled backwards is still race car. Welcome to the Race Car Spelled Backwards podcast. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Brad, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Jamie.
Some people call me Jaime, but yes.
Or James.
Yeah, James.
Or I can think of some other things that people have called you in the past, but we won't go there.
We want to keep just, PG-13.
Yeah, that won't happen. I've recorded with you before. All right, guys, we're coming off a hot weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway with the Coke 600, a 5-hour and 13-minute long race. It was the longest mileage race in NASCAR Cup history at 619.5 miles with a total of 413 laps and 18 cautions. And yours truly and your co-host here, Jamie, we were in Charlotte this weekend.
We were, and it was hot, dude. I think I had about a case of water.
I think I drank a case and then sweat out about 2. It was insanely hot.
It felt like August, man. But, man, what an experience.
Oh, man. I
definitely want to do that again.
I can't even put into words how cool it was. And, I mean, we'll be talking about this whole thing for a while, guys. I mean, not just today, but in the episodes to come, I'm sure we'll cover things that happened. And, one of the coolest things for me was meeting Claire B. Lang, and I sat there and talked to her for a second. She introduced me to William Byron's parents, and first off, his mom and dad are awesome people. It's very obvious where William gets his personality and his attitude from, and it's why he's such a respectful kid. It's because he's got good parents. But I asked Bill, his dad, I asked him if he gets nervous when he watches his son race, because as a father, it would make me nervous watching my son race, and he said not really. He said, William's a good driver and he's doing what he loves, so he knows it's all in God's hands, and he doesn't really get nervous. Now, his mom, on the other hand, she said watching Talladega and Daytona really makes her nervous, which is understandable.
Most moms would be that way.
Like I said, as a parent, I couldn't imagine watching my kid go 180 miles an hour for 500 laps. I think I'd be a nervous wreck.
It was an amazing experience. I want to do it again. I really feel like we kind of fanboyed out for about 4 hours. Then we realized we were there to work. And actually worked. Realized what we need to do better next time. Hopefully we get to do it again. I mean, first of all, it was amazing. The personnel at the track, friendliest people I've ever run into. I mean, in fact, it wasn't until we were leaving Charlotte. Brad told me, that guy in the blue jacket, that was Marcus Smith. I'm like, that guy I talked to like all night? And he said, yes. I knew he was in charge. I just didn't know he was that in charge. And I've never looked at an image. I've heard him on different podcasts, L Junior Download. He seems like a nice guy, but now I can tell you, he is a fantastic, nice guy. Love the guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was obvious that Marcus really cares about not just his facilities and the turnout. I mean, it was a sold-out crowd at Charlotte over the weekend, but he cares about your experience. I mean, we were there to work the race, and Marcus wanted to make sure we had everything that we needed, and everybody in the media center actually had everything they needed to go out and do their jobs to report on the race. And
we didn't have to think about it.
No, it was awesome.
I mean, I walked up to the cooler, grabbed some water, all Coke products, of course, because it was the Coca-Cola 600, and I knew he was in charge. He went up to someone and said, hey, water's getting low. Someone needs to put it back in. So I figured he was like, manager over about the 10 people that were there assisting us to do our job. But, as Brad told me as we were driving home to Atlanta, he said, did you see Marcus Smith was there all the time? And I said, where? He said, that guy in the blue jacket. I said, like I said earlier.
No idea.
That guy I was talking to all the time, telling me where to go, how to get there. He goes, yeah, that was Marcus Smith.
That wasn't the only time we were talking to people and didn't know who they were. I mean, we were talking to this old-looking guy, and then we're standing up at driver intros, and out on the stage walks Lee Greenwood to sing. And I'm like, oh, that's the guy from the media center we were talking to.
Yeah, we were sitting there going, hey, who's that guy? I know that guy.
No idea who he was.
No, we couldn't come up with a name.
Know the song, but just didn't know the face. For me, one of the highlights of the whole weekend for me was during the national anthem and the prayer, I was able to stand out near the Spire Motorsports number 7 car with Corey LaJoie and his team. And I've seen it on TV my whole life, you know, when the fans, or not the fans, but the teams actually line up on pit road to do the prayer and then to do the national anthem. And I've always wanted to be down there for that moment. So that was really where I took my media hat off, and I was 100% fan. I asked one of his crew guys, I said, can I stand here with y'all for this? He's like, yeah, sure, stand right here. They lined up, and there we went. And it was really a neat experience for me just to be able to have that opportunity. So big shout out, big thank you to Marcus Smith and everybody at SMI. Beautiful facility, plenty of toilet paper. I didn't see an issue with that anywhere I looked.
The bathroom in the media center was amazingly clean, like a Chick-fil-A.
I mean, no,
I mean, that's a compliment
Exactly.
if you don't know what a Chick-fil-A is, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. That's all I can really say about it. It was probably the coolest experience of my life.
No,
Up till now, at least.
Yeah. And, you know, while Brad was standing up front during the prayer and the national anthem, of course, it was after the national anthem. I stood there with my hat off, looking at the flag like I should, but I saw this little old man with a cane wandering around. I asked him, hey, can I get you some water or anything? And he looked up at me, and I realized it was Humpy Wheeler.
Oh, Humpy.
So I introduced myself to Humpy. I called him Mr. Wheeler. I said, hey, Mr. Wheeler. He said, hey, how are you? And he squinted at my press pass, and he said, James? I said, you can call me Jamie. He said, well, you can call me Humpy. I said, do you like coming around here? He said, this is my favorite place in the world. And I said, really? He goes, yep.
Tell him what he told you.
When I die, I'm going to come back and haunt this place, but not in a bad way. I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to play tricks on people. And I thought, you know what? From what I've seen and read of Humpy, because I've known him since I was a kid. Well, I've known of him since I was a kid, and his stunts to get people at the track, I believe him.
I do too.
I mean, and you know what? He is just an amazing ambassador for the sport. He was there the whole stinking race. And, you know, some people knew him. He knew everybody by name. I hope and pray he knows my name next time I see him. And I hope, you know, he's just a fantastic guy. Like I said, fanboy for 4 hours. It was probably it's probably once an hour into the race we decided, hey, we need to work.
I don't know. I think we hit that point right around green flag.
Yeah.
Because we went to the media center, watched the start of the race from the media center.
And what were we there? It's 5 hours before start?
Golly, man. We got to the track at 12 o'clock. 12:30, I think is what time we stopped by our hotel, tried to check in. It was too early because it's race weekend. So we went ahead and went to the track, got our passes, and, I mean, it easily 12:30, 1 o'clock, we were down in the infield, going in the media center, which was about as far as we could go until they opened the gates. And then from there it was on. I mean, we had a really good time and got to see a really good race also. And, you know, I think that's the thing. The
amazing race.
Biggest storyline out of the weekend was how good the race was. So, you know, every week we reference the Jeff Gluck poll on here, and I know I vote on it. Jamie, he votes on it. So I went and checked it. It's actually official. Usually by the time we record this, it's still going. But the poll's been closed and the official results are in. 91% of the people who voted said yes, it was a good race, leaving 9% to say no. Those 9% must have not been Denny Hamlin
Do you think
fans.
they turned on just when then we had a long sequence of green laps? Do you think that's when they watched it and then cut it off, went over to watch?
When you say long, you're saying like 40 laps, though.
But, you know, maybe that's all they turned it to. And they're like, there's nothing happening here. Didn't listen to any of the people in the booth. Went back to, what is it, My Favorite Idol or something like that, where the Singspiration competition. I hate those, but
The masked juggler.
Yeah, or the juggling.
Dancing with a mask on or whatever it is. Yeah, I mean,
Know Your Idol. My wife watches it.
Maybe. I really think it probably has more to do with people who hate Denny Hamlin. So I'm thinking 9% are just hardcore, nose to the grind, Chase Elliott fans. And if Chase doesn't win, they hate the race. There's a small percentage of people who will hate a race. It could have been the best race in the world, which I do think this was one of the best Coke 600s we've seen in recent memory. But because of who won, there's people out there who will vote no.
Well, you know what is kind of disappointing, having been there as part of the media? I met some people I haven't ever liked before in my life that were really nice.
Don't worry, we're
gonna get there later.
I've got that in my notes.
Dang it, man! How am I gonna be hating on these people anymore when I like them?
Everybody we met was cool. Whether it was from media personality to track employees to just other NASCAR official employees to drivers, crew chiefs, crew members.
Truck drivers back in the garage with the haulers.
I mean,
just amazing.
Everybody was cool. I mean, look, this is a sport we love. We do this podcast because we love this sport so much.
We don't make anything.
Yeah, we're not doing it for a financial gain. We're doing this to try to give back, just to try to help the sport grow because, I want to see this sport around for many, many years to come. And the only way I know to do that is to continue to do what we're doing here.
Be enthusiastic, positive. Maybe we say some things about someone when they're being negative in the sport, Maybe after meeting some of these people, I've overreacted. I am going to call someone out when they say something that I think is negative. And if I don't agree with Brad, I'm going to call him out. But we both love this. Yeah, we both love the sport. And I'm telling you, I want to be a member of the media again. And I know we've already discussed. We had a 5-hour drive back yesterday. We've texted and talked to each other on the phone. We know how we can be better as members of the media, and those are improvements we want an opportunity to have.
But, yeah, we definitely want to bring y'all, our listeners, the best content we can each week. And if you follow us on Twitter, you're able to see everything that we got to experience over the weekend. I know I posted a ton of pictures and a ton of videos. So,
and if you've listened to us from the beginning, just the audio quality, you can see that we're improving.
Every week, man. Every week.
Yep.
So, back to Charlotte. Let's talk about this race. So, we know it was a good race. The Jeff Gluck poll, it's another 90%er. That is 22 races have made 90% club out of 240 races polled. This is the fourth 90% race this season alone. That is pretty amazing. And considering every one of those four have been an intermediate track, could have been 5 if Texas wouldn't have sucked so bad, but Texas sucked so bad, so it's only 4. But that's a good sign for this next-gen car. And I think, honestly, Sunday night was a good test for the next-gen car.
And after having talked to Marcus, not knowing I knew his name was Marcus. I didn't know it was Smith.
Well, he looks just like Bruton, dude.
Well, I can't tell you what Bruton looks like. I've heard him talk. I've probably seen him interviewed on television when he was more active. But, after I was even a little critical with him about Texas, and he didn't use himself as in the first person, like I decided this or that. And it wasn't an interview. It was casual conversation.
Yeah, it was more like we, as
but,
a group.
He had to say what he said after the All-Star race. That's his track. And you know what? After having seen him in action, he loves his employees.
Oh, yeah. It's like talking bad about your kids, though.
Yeah. So
you're not going to talk crap on your kids.
I'll give him license for that, but I'm still going to say Texas sucks. I'm sorry, Marcus. You've got an amazing track in Charlotte. You've made great improvements at our home track in Atlanta. We know you can fix it.
Yeah, get rid of the trough.
Go for it.
The trough needs to go. We have surpassed that as a species. We
Yeah.
don't need to pee in troughs together anymore. All right. So the next gen car, what'd you think? How did it perform at Charlotte?
I thought the car did great. I really do. I mean, we still had some flat tires and issues of random spinning outs, toe link issues, but we've had those all year. It put on an amazing race.
Denny, when we were in I think it was the media center when he was talking about the next gen car, I think somebody even asked him, was it a good race? And he made a very good point that I know it, and it made total sense, but I've never really thought about it. But he reminded everybody in that room, this is a brand new car. There's going to be problems. There's going to be things they have to work out. The old car, we had, 15 plus years we had that car to work on?
We were still working out issues in the last year.
Exactly.
But we had ironed most of them out.
So I think we have to give this car time. You're going to have races that, unfortunately, you're going to have races that are really good, and you're going to have races that really suck. But that's a product of a new car. Just give it time. If you hate this car, I'm sorry. Give it some time. It can only get better. That's the thing I think people have to remember.
I still think short tracks are the issue. Flat tracks.
Exactly. Tracks without banking. Well, I mean, like we just talked about, the 90% club. 4 tracks this year. Every one of them's been an intermediate. For the last 5 years on Twitter, not including this season, the last 5 seasons, last season and back, everybody has complained about the product at a 1.5-mile track. Well,
I've complained. It sucks.
I've complained. But here we go now. It's complete opposite. Everybody loves the product we're getting at a 1.5-mile track.
I'm really curious for Michigan.
I am too. It's going to be, actually, Michigan should be a good race because
I think it'll be a great race.
Fontana was a good race, and that's a 2-mile track.
Yeah, and I'm just, happy with anticipation.
I think you're going to see more drafting at Michigan than usual just because of these packages, but I'm with you. I can't wait to see it. And like you pointed out, Jamie, we did see a lot of cars with tire issues and a lot of cars getting loose, spinning out. And, I kind of run through these. There's a lot, so I'm going to kind of run through them really quickly. But Daniel Suarez, he pushed Kyle Busch high. Kyle Busch taps the wall and spins out. Corey LaJoie blows a tire, spins out, hits the wall again. He hit the wall in practice, same issue. Had a tire blow in practice, he hit the wall hard. Bubba Wallace, he gets loose coming off turn 4, slides through the front straightaway turf, my bad. Austin Cindric had a tire go down, putting him in the wall, ending his day. Kyle Larson, he gets loose, spins out.
Dude, we saw him catch fire. Come on.
Yeah,
we were standing right behind the pit box.
Kyle Larson had a hell of a day.
God, man. And what a pep talk his crew
yeah.
chief gave him.
Ryan Blaney, he catches the apron, shoots the car up, causes the big one. Kevin Harvick, Noah Gragson, they got loose. They spun out at different times. Tyler Reddick, he had a tire go down, hitting the wall. Suarez gets loose, collects the 17, sends him flipping. Briscoe gets loose. Now, Briscoe getting loose, I don't know that I would put it in the same category as these other guys because Briscoe got loose going for the win.
And it was, I compared it in the moment to his move at Bristol. But he
he was driving hard trying to win the race.
And he had 4 fresh tires, so he
at the end of the race, Briscoe even said, if I would have driven my car about 95%, I would have probably won that race. But he drove it at 110%, and that's why he got loose. And honestly, that's just a young kid. He's a young driver.
With a new car.
Yeah, this is his second year in the series, in the Cup Series. First year in this new car like everybody else, but he had last year was a learning year, and this year is when it starts. Usually it's the second or third year before you start seeing improvements, and honestly, Chase Briscoe's the strongest car week in and week out of that Stewart-Haas camp.
Harvick finished 4th, but yes.
Week
to week, he's in it to win it, where it seems like with the other Stewart-Haas drivers, their positions at the end of the race is based on attrition.
Oh, no doubt. Kevin Harvick had a heck of a day. He got loose.
He drove the crap out of the car.
He didn't even have power steering. Kevin Harvick did everything he did without power steering.
Look, He did 413 laps without power steering.
But like you said, it was a product of attrition Sunday at the Coke 600. I mean, Kevin Harvick had all his issues and finished third. Chase Briscoe spun out with 2 laps to go and finished fourth. So that's not a bad showing. If you go by the finishing order, that's not a bad showing for Stewart-Haas. But it's everything it took to get there. I mean, if you wouldn't have had 20-something cars caught up in accidents, I mean, 24th and back. 24th position. No, wait a minute. Even more than that. 20th position and back were caught up in accidents at some point in time during the race. Now, Kevin Harvick, Chase Briscoe, they were caught up in it. So it really was a product of attrition. I don't think if you would have had all those other guys running, you would have seen Kevin Harvick finishing third, or Chase Briscoe finishing in fourth.
We saw. I mean, look at Kyle. What we were sitting there at his behind his pit box. What do he have? Like a 6-minute pit stop?
Yeah, it was.
How in God's name did he end up second after that? We were like, oh, he's cussing in there. Oh, he's tearing a new one, man.
I was getting video of Kyle Busch's stop on that long stop, and I ended up having to stop recording because after a minute or so, I knew it was never going to upload on Twitter. But I wanted to make sure I had some good video content to shoot over to our friends at the Left Turn Cult. Make sure they had some stuff. Dalton, he's a big-time Kyle Busch fan. So one of the things I found interesting was Bob Parkhurst was explaining on the teardown with Jordan Bianchi that these tires, just like the car, they're also a work in progress. Goodyear's not going to build or remake a tire in a week. It's going to take a while. It's going to take probably all season before we start seeing these tires have major improvements, but it's just a product of the tires. The teams always run low air pressure. The lower the air pressure, the more grip they have, so they're going to run air pressure low because as they run, we all know it builds up air pressure, so they want to start low.
But we saw Goodyear engineers
at every pit stop.
Yeah, they were looking at every tire after every pit stop. BBS was there too. Their engineers were monitoring the wheels.
Yeah, I mean, NASCAR's on top of it. That's what we're getting at. One thing Bob said that I didn't think of, but for example, when you're going 180 miles an hour, 190 miles an hour in the turn, and you drop down to the flat of the apron and then come back up, that compromises the tire. And I guess if you look at it, I guess it would compromise it with those low air pressures. When they drop down, that sidewall is going to push up on that 18-inch rim. You only got, 2-3 inches of sidewall?
But anybody with a license has experience where you see that sign, uneven pavement, and you drop a wheel or 2 wheels to the lower pavement and have to get back. It's almost like a car accident.
We're running 34 PSI in our tires. When we do that, they're running 8, 10. I mean, the tires look visibly low on a restart. But like I said, it's just part of it. So,
and as they warm up, you can, when they pull in for a pit stop, they ain't 8 PSI anymore. They're 30, 34, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely jump up. So I guess my whole point is be patient. I'm with everybody else.
I think the new cars made this season better.
Yeah, I have zero patience, to be honest with you, but I think we're getting more better product than usual out of this car than we did out of last year's car. It's not going to hit it out of the park every racetrack. We're going to have to step back and punt and make improvements.
But 1.5 miles in super speedways, it's been fantastic.
Which is the majority of your races.
Yep.
And then on the whole aspect of these cars spinning out, and we used to see cars get squirrely all the time in the old car, and Denny was explaining that in the old car, when they got squirrely, the side was more like a billboard. The air would hit it, and I guess it kind of straightened you back out. The air would help keep you from wrecking, basically, is what Denny was saying. But he said in these new cars, you get just the tiniest bit sideways, the air is going to grab that whole car, and it's going to spin you around. I mean, you pretty much know if you get loose, you're going up the track. You're going somewhere. I mean, we saw it with Blaney. We saw it with Suarez. Heck, we saw it with Kyle Busch and Daniel Suarez. We saw it with Austin Dillon. I mean, these guys get loose very easily. And if you get loose and that rear end sticks out, right side sticks out too far, the air's getting you and you're going around.
Have you noticed the recoveries are getting better though? Most of the drivers?
Oh,
So they're learning the car.
yeah, the drivers are learning the car. But I'm not even going to dignify the guy with it by saying his name on here, but I saw a guy on Twitter who is a prominent figure in the media of NASCAR. I know the name from over the years of NASCAR, but he said that there's a massive problem in NASCAR that needs to be fixed immediately. We shouldn't have guys spinning out. These cars shouldn't be so hard to drive.
Yeah, well, they should be.
Yes, they should.
We're
I
the
agree.
premier series in the U.S. And we want to conquer the world with our series.
Myself and you both have discussed this over the past years. These cars look like slot cars riding around the track. They look too easy to drive. Now, they don't. Nope. We want hard to drive. I don't care if you're Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, or Cody Ware. It doesn't matter. If you get sideways and spin out, you get sideways and spin out.
Don't talk about Cody Ware in a negative light anymore.
I said nothing negative.
We met him, and I predicted last week,
we're gonna
meet these people we don't like, and we're gonna end up liking them.
That's just because they're nice people. But then again, they know their success relies on fans pulling for them and watching them. So
they also know that, they understand podcasts is opinion-based, and
we're very opinionated.
Journalism is supposed to be, it's not always.
No, you have somebody.
It's supposed to be fact-based.
Journalism, you have an editor to answer to. Podcasting, well, it's just me and you.
I was a journalism major for a year.
Yeah, I didn't do journalism. I told you I sucked in math.
I know. I'm pretty good at math, sucking. You
mentioned it earlier, Kyle Larson getting that pep talk from Cliff Daniels. Dude, that was... I don't think I've ever heard a pep talk in NASCAR that convincing. Like, I was ready.
I've heard Joe Gibbs, when he was the coach of the Redskins, give those kind of talks.
But not Cliff Daniels.
Do you think Cliff studied great pep talks?
Dude, I don't know, but Cliff knocked it out of the park. I mean, Cliff, if you're listening, Cliff, you need to go give graduation speeches next year during graduation season.
That was a motivational speak that we'll know for infinity.
Dude,
or is it infinity?
And beyond?
Was that FDR that said that after the bomb? I don't remember. Bombing of Pearl Harbor? Infinity, or did he say infinity?
I don't know.
Neither one of us was born. Shit, our parents weren't even born.
Way before my time. So.
Yeah, our parents weren't even around for that. So,
Ryan Blaney calls the big one. And I'm not used to seeing wrecks like that on tracks bigger than smaller than 2.5 miles. I mean, that pretty much collected half the field. Actually, it did collect about half the field. I think there was 12 cars total involved in that wreck.
Well, wouldn't that be about a third then?
I told you, I sucked at math. Don't be asking me English questions now. I didn't do good in that class either. Look, basically, I was successful in high school in lunch and anything that happened after school.
That's pretty good at PE.
I don't remember taking PE senior year.
I got decent at math when my dad realized I was really good at math if you put a $sign in front of the number. And he just said, why don't you just put a $sign in front of everything? Teacher's not going to get pissed grading your paper.
Why do you have all these S's on your paper, Jamie?
I told him, I'm sorry, doctor, so-and-so. I put one slash through the S. That's a $sign. He said, no, you're supposed to put two. So, I even failed at the $sign.
Well, that was insane. And, it kind of goes up back to what we were talking about from what Bob Parker said about these tires getting down on that apron. And we also heard people saying the paint on the stripes was getting them loose, too. It was so slick. So maybe a product of Ryan hitting that apron, then hitting the paint on the lines. But he just shot right. That car hooked right hard and quick.
But you're going against what Jamie McMurray said. McMurray said you go to the paint for more traction.
That's
think
how
he's
it's
been out of racing too long?
Well, I think that's how it's been in the past. Maybe with these new cars and smaller profile tires, he gets slick on it. Or maybe the paint was on the apron, and that's why it shot him up the track.
Has McMurray driven the second gen? No. Clint has.
Yeah, but still, it was Bowman Gray, so...
Flat track, but they thought it was awesome.
Well, then they raced on a flat track and realized it wasn't.
Junior even drove it at Bowman Gray, didn't he?
Yep.
Do we need
Junior
to question?
he also drove it at Talladega, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, Bubba Wallace was also caught up in that wreck from Ryan Blaney causing, and ended up getting disqualified for not meeting minimum speed.
Rookie mistake, man. What the heck?
Booty even came out and admitted to the mistake. And, you know, so if you don't know what happened, NASCAR gives you 3 laps to make minimum speed when you're on the damaged vehicle clock. Bubba Wallace goes out there. Now, it also needs to be noted, lap 1 does not count in those 3 laps. So basically you get
4.
Get up to speed lap, and then you get 3 laps. Well,
4 total, I would say.
Because there was still time on the clock, Bubba's crew said, hey, man, just hold back on these tires. Don't go all out.
Save them tires, Bubba.
Well, that's what Bubba did, and 3 laps later, he hadn't met minimum speed. Guess whose day ended?
What was funny was at the post-race interview session with Denny, it was brought to Denny's attention, and Denny kind of did a double head pump like, what the hell? And he admitted, he goes, well, I don't know about that. Yeah, that's something definitely we'll talk about on Tuesday. So the first he heard of it was in the media room, post-race.
I don't think he was too happy about it.
No.
But he didn't let it damper his mood, did he? So the other big thing I think we've been talking about this season are these dang toe links. Chase Elliott barely gets into the wall and breaks the toe link. And then his day's pretty much over from the damaged clock as well. I mean, he had
legit problems. I mean, he tried to, whereas Bubba didn't even try.
We were standing there in his pit stall, and you just see sparks flying out. It's like, what the heck are these guys doing? Honestly, I thought we had another stuck lug or stuck nut.
I saw a guy, he jumped over the wall.
He about took
and
you
I
out.
it wasn't that close. We made eye contact as soon as he jumped the wall, and I got out of the way, realized the tool he needed was the toolbox behind me, not in the pit box. But, yeah, I knew what he was thinking as soon as he looked at me after he jumped the wall. I was like, oh, crap. But I got out. He had plenty of time. He didn't slow down. I tell you what, if I didn't get out of the way, I would have been flat on my ass.
But we know that NASCAR is working on the issue with the tires blowing out, the stuck lug nuts, because we saw those guys there at the track.
And we would have never known the logistics of what was going on if we weren't granted this pass.
Well, what I don't know is NASCAR working on something to fix this toe link? Because, look, we now have composite bodies just like the Xfinity cars. You can pancake a wall with that Xfinity car and still win the dang race. With a Cup car, you barely hit the wall. It breaks these toe links. So,
I've changed my opinion on the toe link after being there.
Well, you don't like it or you do like it?
I do like it. Protect your car.
I don't know, man. I want to see them run these cars on the ragged edge of out of control, and that means
they're already running at the ragged edge of out of control.
Yeah, but Chase barely touched the... Okay, I'm a Chase Elliott fan. Let's just start
there.
I'm
a Chase Elliott fan, too.
He barely touched that wall.
Protect it.
He was leading. When Daniel Suarez, who apparently is on a rampage and going to take everybody out because he put Busch in the wall, he spun out. Elliott in the wall, he spun out. I mean, Daniel Suarez obviously is in the hot seat wanting to win a race. Now, Trackhouse might not be pushing it.
Yeah, is he putting the pressure on himself? I think so. I don't think it's Trackhouse.
Well, no, because I've heard Justin Marks talk numerous times about having conversations with Ross Chastain to get him to calm down. And I think it worked with him, with Ross, because Ross calmed down, realized he had all this potential, and then Ross goes out and starts kicking butt.
But that success
Ross led the most laps last night.
But Ross's success is putting pressure on Suarez no matter what anyone's telling Daniel.
100%. 100%. So, Daniel Suarez, with all that pressure on him, for a third time, he gets loose. This time when he gets loose, he collects Chris Buescher, sending him sliding through the front straightaway turf, catching a drainage grate with the A post of his car, sending it flipping through the air.
So the right rear stopped spinning or even moving. So it was kind of like a pole vault putting their pole in that hole.
Yep.
That was wrong. But it was a good example, a good metaphor. So it launched him just like a pole vaulter. What did he spin? 6, 7 times?
Something like that. It was insane. I would say this. It was very cool to see him walk away. It was even cooler to hear his interview saying he wasn't hurt. In my opinion, what was not cool
how long it took
is how long it
flip
took
that
to
car
get him
over.
out of the car.
But we
were watching it going, what the hell are they doing?
We saw Indy where the safety crew, flipped the car over to get the driver out.
I'm okay with flipping it over. I think
but they did it by hand, muscles.
Oh, well.
I'm sure the car weighs too much for that.
You've seen those safety crew guys, and none of them really look like they got muscles. The muscles are on the pit crew.
What I
not the
think
safety crew.
happened is that they knew how to do it. They just weren't fast and efficient at it. I think they practiced it. They need to practice it like the pit crew practices changing tires.
That's what I'm getting at here is they need to do something because you saw Chris Buescher's face.
What if there's a fuel leak and a fire? He would have died.
When he got out of the car, you
dead.
could see his face. It was blood red.
Bye-bye.
From hanging upside down. All the blood rushes to your head. I'm surprised he could walk. There was no blood left anywhere in his body but his head. I mean, he was upside down for long enough for us to walk from the media center down pit road and check it out and watch what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, we went from seeing it in the press room's television monitors to seeing it live. Nuts.
Well, then we had 2 green-white checkers. The first green-white checker we had gave us a lot of excitement with all the different tire strategies. Austin Dillon obviously had the fastest car on those 4 tires. He shot up on the bottom, shooting low, leaving Chastain to shoot the high line with Denny and Larson in the middle. Larson gets a little squirrely, gets into Chastain, hooks Austin Dillon, causing a 7-car wreck, leaving Denny as the leader. For the next green-white checkered, second green-white checkered gets underway. You had 2 JGR guys fighting it out with Kyle and Denny.
That was a great battle between Kyle and Denny. Neither one was going to give an inch because we know their personalities from having watched them for years. I thought maybe they'd wreck each other and Harvick might win.
Well, what I thought was cool about those 2 racing is neither one of them wanted to give an inch, nor were they going to give an inch.
No, they weren't. I mean,
but they didn't race dirty.
No, they
Kyle
didn't.
didn't dive bomb Denny. Denny didn't push Kyle up into the wall.
They didn't pull a Joey.
Denny crowded Kyle on the high side because Denny was on the low side, so he held his low line, or more or less held the middle line, crowding Kyle but not wrecking Kyle. And Kyle was disappointed when he got out of the car that he didn't win, but he wasn't mad at Denny for racing him hard. That was good, solid, hard racing, and that's what we want to see. And at the end of the lap, Denny Hamlin, he's the winner. His 48th Cup victory and his first Coca-Cola 600 victory. And he did all that without his crew chief and 2 crew members being suspended.
Yeah, wasn't that awesome? The substitute.
Yeah, that's what they kept calling.
Did we miss a motivational speech on the radio?
By Denny to Sam?
Yeah, or did Sam give it to Denny? Denny probably gave it to Sam.
Yeah, I think.
You're doing great, Sam.
Hang in there. What?
Yeah, you got it, Sam. I got it, Sam.
He had a lot of good things to say about Sam, which obviously JGR puts Denny in phenomenal. I mean, he even said it on the download last week. If it wasn't for the quality of equipment, he wouldn't be where he's at because the quality outdoes the talent.
Quality of personnel. Sam's, what was that? His second race he's ever called?
For Denny, it was.
Yeah.
I think he's done this a couple times
This
before.
guy stepped in and won, in my opinion, the 3rd biggest race in NASCAR that we do every year, which is, in my opinion, is Daytona, Southern 500, Coca-Cola 600. Some people might argue 600's after Daytona. I put it in 3rd, but that guy won the Coca-Cola 600, dude.
Yeah, I mean, other than...
What the heck? That guy's got skill.
I think your Coke 600, Daytona 500, Southern 500, and really the Bristol Night Race are, in my opinion, the 4 crown jewels. But you can add the Bristol Night Race in there. Denny's won it, so I don't think there's a crown jewel race left that Denny hasn't won. I mean, he's got 48 victories. The guy, he's
a first ballot Hall of Famer without a championship.
So who's the best driver without a championship? Is it Denny or is it Mark? Mark Martin don't have a championship. He won a ton of races.
That's close, isn't it?
I bet you if you asked Mark Martin, he would say it's Denny Hamlin.
Hold on. We're forgetting one driver.
Who?
We've been making fun of him, not on the podcast, but personally, the Where's Waldo candidate. Carl Edwards.
Well,
he was a hell of a racer, and in many people's opinion, and I'm one of them, championship was stolen from him from a bizarre flag that was thrown for we don't know what.
1 point difference.
A grain of sand.
For Tony Stewart to win the championship.
And I was a big Tony Stewart fan, but I'm not. I was like, wow, it was taken from Carl, but yay, Tony Stewart. So, and we didn't meet Tony Stewart, so.
I don't think Tony was there. So when Denny Hamlin was pulling into pit road or into victory lane at the end of the race, I got up and I shot out of the media center.
I stayed in the media center because a Hall of Fame reporter who has already been mentioned said, hey, look, fight the urge to go to victory lane because they're coming here afterwards anyway. Her name's Claire B.
I went to victory lane and it was a madhouse. I actually got out of victory lane because I couldn't even hold my phone up to take video.
So Claire was right, wasn't she?
Oh, she was 100% right. Well, what was funny, so I walk out there, I'm walking to victory lane, I see Denny getting ready to take the left off of pit road, and there's some drunk dude who apparently some other guys that said security had been hollering at this guy, telling him to get back and watch out. As soon as Denny turns left, this guy jumps at Denny's car like he's going to attack the hood because I don't think he was getting in the car. Well, at that point, security grabbed the guy. The guy just takes a swing, a right hook at security. At that point, security from everywhere just takes off. Denny's crew members, everybody was getting on this guy.
Dude, hit a woman, man.
Denny was trying to get into the victory lane, and Denny's crew was pumped up on adrenaline, about to kill this guy probably. Luckily, they dragged the guy out of the way. Denny got on into victory lane. And that's that. But it was insane. You know, I heard a lot of people make comments in the media center about they'll give these, not press passes, but garage passes, pit road passes. You know, they'll just give them to just about anybody. Well,
we heard that on the bus from the media parking to the.
Yeah, they were dogging out and saying, no, all you got to do is have a podcast to get a press pass. And Jamie leans up.
We have a podcast.
It's like, we have a podcast. And then it was just uncomfortably quiet in the bus the rest of the trip.
Well, no, but the lady, I can't remember her name, Toyota PR lady, she sat right behind us.
Yeah, she was
She
cool.
was super friendly. Channel 46, Fox Charlotte, I don't think he ever warmed up to us at all. But he was putting on makeup while
he never even spoke to us. Like,
no, he talked to her. But
he's on local news, man. He ain't got time for two podcasters.
Hey, he's a superstar.
Yeah, those national media guys, they got time for us, but the local guys, you know, he's big shot in Charlotte. He ain't got no time for us.
That had to be the problem because
we were in Charlotte.
Clint, Jamie, what's that guy that used to be on ESPN? I should know his name, but I got a brain fart right now. Michael
Waltrip?
No, I saw him. He was nice.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Hammond. Jeff Hammond?
No, he was
nice.
He was nice. No, when they were in front of the stage,
Jamie Mack, Mike Joy, and Clint Boyer were
Mike
talking.
Joy wasn't there.
Oh, you're talking about Chris Myers.
Chris Myers, that's him. They were great people.
They were nice to us.
Jamie Little was great.
Yep.
I don't know one of the guys that I knew his voice because I listened
Reagan
to
Smith.
PR. Well, Reagan Smith. No, but this was a PRN.
Oh, yeah, that was...
As soon as he talked, I was like, oh, I know that dude.
That was like Jordan Bianchi. I had no idea. Jordan Bianchi sitting in front of us on the bus, heading over from
Well, he
the
talked
parking
to
lot.
us when I made the podcast comment.
We're sitting there talking, and I was like, I know this guy. I know this voice, but I'd never really put a face with the name. But if you're ever wondering, Jordan sounds exactly on the podcast what he sounds like in real life. It was funny how many people that actually happened with. We would hear their voice, and like, we know the voice. We just didn't know the face to go with the voice.
And like we said earlier, I'm telling you, 99.9% of the people in the media were nice and helpful to us. They wanted to make sure we knew the rules, what to do and not to do, but they also made suggestions on what we should do to talk to someone. They were amazing. And just to clear up the air, they said that there were some podcasters that got completely smashed drunk.
Yeah, it showed out in the media center.
Showed their ass, which is wrong. We didn't do that, but we did.
Had to be removed.
But hold it. We would be remiss if we don't mention our very first experience at the media parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Throwing cones?
Yeah. Privileged dude.
I don't know who this guy was. So, security that worked the parking lot.
Super nice, elderly gentleman.
Making sure that we got in, got parked, and knew where to go. He'd wave the bus down for us. Super nice guy. He was holding 2 spots for the security team that's working the lot. Some dude in the truck just flies in there. Well, he tells the guy to move. So the guy starts,
hey, this is reserved for security.
So the guy starts kicking the cones and grabs one of the security guys' cones.
25 yards out in the field.
Chunks it. And then he speeds out of his parking spot,
almost
runs
hit us
into the
parking.
shuttle.
And we went and asked the guy, hey, are you okay? You need help? He said, no, I've already called the police.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't see that guy again
Maybe
after
he got run out because his truck wasn't there when we left.
Yeah.
He parked right behind us.
I'm thinking, well, that guy wasn't going to let him get on the shuttle. He was going to have to walk it to the infield.
Yeah, we did leave without him.
Yeah, the shuttle driver. He almost hit the shuttle driver, too. She wasn't going to ride around with him.
Almost rear-ended. It was insane.
So our experience was awesome. At the end of the night, it's kind of a funny story. I walked into the bathroom before we got on the shuttle to leave, and standing there next to me in the bathroom was Denny Hamlin. And I didn't want to talk to him while he was peeing. I wanted to wait till he got done. So as soon as
you sure you didn't talk to him at the urinal? Because I made fun of you when you came out.
Oh, I was still peeing.
Well, what took so long? I had a full conversation with Denny Hamlin before you came out.
I had to pee. I don't know what to tell you. I was drinking all that free Bob Pockers water.
I didn't pee till yesterday.
But I asked Denny in the bathroom there, when we were done using the bathroom, if this car was more of a challenge to drive than the old car for 600 miles. And he said no, but yes. And he said the reason he would say yes is because of the independent steering. It doesn't have as much play as the old car. So the old car, if you barely turn the wheel, it wasn't necessarily going to jerk into the wall where the new car is. So then Denny leaves the bathroom. I had to wash my hands, so I was washing my hands. And then Jamie runs into Denny. Jamie, do you want to tell the fans what you said to Denny? Because I thought it was hilarious.
I told Denny that since he got into the Cup Series, I hated him.
Oh, he didn't just say he hated him. He said he effing hated him.
No, but let's not go there. Let's not hurt. Let's not go mature.
I said effing. I didn't say the whole word.
But I did say, hey, look, I listened to the Dale Jr. download religiously. And after you talked, I liked you. I hate that I like you, but I like you. And you know what? Without blinking an eye, all he did is say, well, and of course he called me James. We got to get on a better first name basis. He doesn't know my nickname's Jamie. But he said, James, Lisa got a new friend.
That's right.
Shook my hand and left. I was like, he's right. You got a new friend, Denny.
We've talked about this for 2 weeks. I mean, the more Denny talks, the more we like him. And here it is. I don't care for Denny. I'm still not a fan of Denny's as a driver. But Denny Hamlin as an owner is one badass. Like, I like Denny Hamlin as an owner. This sport needed owners like Denny Hamlin and Justin Marks. These guys are coming in. They're not following the same old tried and true way of owning a team. I mean, you got Project 91 only for international drivers. Justin Marks is trying to bring more eyes to the sport. You got Denny Hamlin trying to bring more eyes to the sport.
And we talk about Trackhouse like crazy, about how amazing their success is. But, we kind of forgotten that 2311 won a race last year and this year. They won a race their first 2 seasons. That's amazing. Wow. How many race teams have raced in all 3 of the series?
Kaulig won a race last year.
But many teams have done all 3 series and never won a race.
No, but I think these younger guys coming in, Matt Kaulig, Justin Marks, Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan, these guys coming in.
Yeah, they're
as
shattering
owners,
the system that's been in place for years.
they're not playing by the same old rules. They're worried about growing the sport, more eyes on the sport, more seats filled in the stands. I mean, we're having sold-out races. We haven't had sold-out races in years. I mean,
we just had a few.
Phoenix just announced this morning that the 2022 championship race at the end of this year, it's already sold out. Coke 600 was sold out. Atlanta sold out. Daytona sold out. We have sold-out races again. We haven't had sold-out races since the late 90s, early 2000s.
Now, when are we going to get a reality show that will put us on the map like F1?
It needs to be a real reality show, not like this Driving Wives of NASCAR where they faked it.
Yeah, I never saw that.
I never watched it, but I know it was 100%
And,
fake.
you know, I've heard good things about the Bubba Wallace documentary. I tried to watch it, and I got bored. I mean, that's no reflection on his team or Bubba, but I got bored.
Well, it's not Drive to Survive. It's not going to fill that void that we're missing.
But Drive to Survive has gotten old.
Yeah, but it's
It
fake
seems-
too.
yeah, it seems
all those are
it's fake
manufactured
drama.
rivalries, and that's. I mean, we've said it on the show. We don't like made up manufactured cautions, so we definitely don't want a manufactured rivalry.
Well, as we saw, and as we've seen for years, but especially behind the scenes, there's plenty of drama to put on television
Yeah,
without manufacturing it.
no doubt. I mean, there's plenty of drama at the race Sunday night without manufacturing drama.
And look at our young guns that are winning.
One thing that pissed me off about this weekend, and I'm still a little salty about it, if you can tell, there was a lot of people on Twitter, which we all know Twitter's just a garbage can for NASCAR fans to go and complain. There's a core group of us that are probably positive and cool to be around and talk with, but you got a lot more people negative. But one of the things I noticed on Twitter this weekend was people complaining about the break in between stages 2 and 3 to have a moment of silence to remember and to honor all those lost fighting for our freedom.
And what the hell's wrong with people?
I
Dude.
don't watch NASCAR. We
Did
don't
they
need
not?
you. We don't need you in this
That
sport.
whole race.
Without
was about-
those people fighting for us, we wouldn't have the opportunity to
No.
go to that race, to be at that race, or to even race on that track.
We wouldn't be able to have our little podcast without having a government official editing.
Exactly. So if you didn't like that,
These people died for our country. For God's sake, have some respect.
you can pound sand. We don't. I don't think you don't have. There's not a place for
I
you
don't
in
think
this
we have
sport.
listeners that have that opinion. I really don't.
I hope not.
No.
Another thing, Phoenix announced this morning that it will host the 2023 championship race next season also. I have my opinions on it. Jamie, how do you feel about it?
Nah, I don't like it. Just don't like it.
So here's where I stand on it. I don't like it either. I think two things. One, flat tracks have not been a strong suit of this car, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're going to get that fixed. So I'm not going to let that factor into my decision for not liking them running it back at Phoenix next year. I don't like it because back in the day, Kevin Harvick dominated Phoenix.
He did.
We know he doesn't anymore, but by having the race at the same track each year, you're giving an advantage to somebody.
To whoever's run it the most.
To whoever's the best there.
Yeah.
So by moving it around, you don't allow somebody to get really good. It's like if I can survive to the final race and I suck at every other track, but I've won at Phoenix, all I got to do is get there, and then I can win a championship.
Hasn't this car proven that the championship race would be great at 1.5 miles?
I say take it
Except
back.
for Texas.
Take it back to Homestead. But
Take it to Vegas.
Look, it's November. I get it. It's cold. So that's going to cut out your Northeast tracks. It cuts out a lot of your Midwest tracks, but you still got Atlanta, you got Bristol, you got Martinsville, you got Darlington, you got Talladega, you got Daytona, you got Homestead. You have plenty of racetracks in the southern hemisphere or the southern part of the United States that you could race in November and it still be warm.
Is that math creeping in again?
What, the southern hemisphere part?
Yeah. I'm a little confused about that.
Yeah, I didn't do good at geography, obviously.
My minor in school was
We're
geography.
we're just
Isn't
proving
it-
how crappy I did in high
Isn't that
school right
just, that's the southern part of the equator, isn't it?
I got high school
Southern
teachers.
Hemisphere?
I got high school teachers listening to this show right now going, yep, we told you. We knew he was an idiot.
Why don't we run down to Brazil? It's summer in wintertime.
In the Southern Hemisphere.
In the Southern Hemisphere.
All right, whatever. I meant Southeast. You can pick on me all you want. I don't care. I know what I meant. You know what I meant. Now the listeners now know what I meant as well. So, but that being said, we're getting ready to go to the Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. It's going to be our first trip there. Jamie, where the heck don't we want to stay?
Oh,
if we're going to Worldwide Technology Raceway.
So many places. But I picked a select few. I do want to say I left a little Easter egg in the last episode about my metal pole in the front lawn for a bizarre made-up holiday from Steinville. The answer is Festivus.
Festivus.
Festivus. The holiday for the rest of us is Festivus. And at the end of this,
like
I'll also give you
shot for.
my review of the hotel we stayed in. I don't know why I'm leading into that, Mike, when I have one on my lapel pin.
I was thinking the same thing, but I wasn't going to call you out.
All right. Well, here we have this fake franchise. First Western Inn of Caseyville. These are all within commuting distance of the track. What was the name of that track again?
Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway.
What is Worldwide Technology? Do you know?
It's WWT. I have no idea.
Thanks, Brad. Wow. Whoa. All right.
No idea,
That's
man.
an eye-opener.
No clue.
All right. Well, let's go back to the First Western Inn of Caseyville. And it's Megan Moore. She gave it a 1 out of 5 on Google. She says this place is a complete hole.
Shithole.
Well, she did. She put asterisks there.
I said hole.
Oh, okay.
Shithole.
Shithole.
Hole.
And then she goes down the road. We're trying to convince people not to go. Would rate 0 if possible.
She fell into the 0-star trap.
You can't. We all know it. People that go to Google reviews for everything. No, you can't give a 0.
It's 1 through 5. Megan.
It was the filthiest motel I've ever set foot in because that's all we did was set foot in the place before we realized 30 minutes later we needed to stay elsewhere.
It's her own stupid fault. She just stood there for 30 minutes with 1 foot in the door.
There was feces in the toilet and piss stains all over the seat, which means it probably hadn't been thoroughly cleaned in months.
You think?
I'm going to just hazard here. Wouldn't it look like tea bags were in it if it's been there for a long time? Wouldn't you say the water was brown? I know that's more detail than anyone wants to hear, but wouldn't you?
I don't get it, man. What's up with all these people walking
That was a
into new
cleaning
rooms
lady
and there's
taking
crap?
There's a cleaning lady had to take a dump.
Just
Or
flush.
I'm not going to be sexist. The cleaning person.
Just flush the toilets, people. That's all.
But this is nasty. There were greasy handprints all over the remote control. Oh, you know what? That's how every remote. I thought she was going to say walls. A spill stain in the microwave, which they should.
That happens.
But it still should be something you look at. And who's going to make more than a bag of popcorn in there?
Dude, I haven't seen a microwave in a hotel room in a long time, so I'm just impressed they have a microwave.
Some sort of dark brown goo on the sink handles. Well, maybe they were out of toilet paper when they dropped the deuce.
That's just dark.
No, I'm sorry. The next statement gives us an answer. Carpet was sticky. Does that mean whatever human being dropped the deuce and put brown goo on the sink, then drug their butt like a dog on the carpet? Oh, my God.
Well, the next statement makes me think of that dog thing, too.
All of the furniture was outdated and scuffed up, etc. We therefore went through the whole place with disinfectant. I thought you left. Why did you wipe it clean?
Well, that was nice.
Hoping we could tough it out. Well, they cleaned it for the next guest. Then realize if bedding in God knows how long. So we checked for bed bugs. They didn't find any. Hey, that's a plus.
Yeah.
No bed bugs is good. But the mattress itself was a piss yellow color. You know,
They took their sheets off.
the whole mattress? She's insinuating someone urinated over the whole mattress.
Maybe that was just the new color of it.
I'm going to call into question here. I don't believe it. So they probably haven't got new furniture since the place first opened.
Well, that I believe, because that would cost money.
And that might turn your white mattress yellow. Just age like an old magazine laying around the house.
And this is the very first Western Inn, so
Yeah.
it probably has the oldest furniture. Maybe the second and third Western Inn have more, like, newer furniture.
It reeked of mildew,
Yeah, that would stink.
urine,
Yep.
and cigarette smoke.
It's
Now we've
probably
discovered
non-smoking.
Yeah, but we've discovered the answer. If there is a smoking room, the whole hotel's gonna smell like smoke.
Oh, yeah.
So
It doesn't matter.
you need a non-smoking
Or if the
hotel.
smoking section's outside of your door by the air conditioning unit, it's going to pull the cigarette smoke into your room.
It's true, but you know what? She goes positive for just a second. The only positive thing I can say is there is a full-size refrigerator.
Oh, heck yeah. That's what I always look for in a
But then the
hotel.
next sentence, it's like she's blaming what happens next on the refrigerator because she says, we therefore, which wouldn't that mean after four?
Yeah.
She therefore packed our things up and headed over to the Motel 6 next door for a much more pleasant stay on a budget. Really? Well, at least they left a light on for her.
Yeah, that's so you can see the bugs.
If you don't want to leave your hotel caked in bacteria from head to toe, do not give them any of your money. Please save yourself the trouble. They need a change in management or just to be shut down altogether. Gross, gross, gross!
Yeah.
Why didn't she put an exclamation point after that big long gross?
So, first off, a change in management's probably not going to help because management doesn't spend any money on the hotel. They just manage the hotel.
Well, I'm
So
thinking it's a
they need
one-off hotel because it's First Western.
It's the first Western
It's not the
Inn.
best Western.
No, but it's the Western Inn is a chain of hotels. There's like 7 or 8 of them in the world. This is just the first Western Inn.
I'm just, in my opinion, the
Isn't
owner.
Illinois in the middle of the country?
Yeah.
Then why is it Western? Wouldn't it be first?
But, you know,
Central
the gateway, the big arch,
Inn? Yeah.
right there in St. Louis is supposed to be the gateway to the west.
Yeah, but you have to walk through that gateway to be on the west side.
Well, can't you walk around it? Just past it would be west, wouldn't it?
Well, how do you know we're past it?
It's also the west side of the Mississippi River.
But we're east Illinois right now.
But remember, the Louisiana Purchase was on the other side of the Mississippi. So in ancient days, ancient American days, the Wild West
Early
was
1900s.
just the other side. No, we're talking like 1830s here. The other side of the Mississippi.
I saw 1873. That was a good show.
That is a good show. That's way west
Yeah.
of the arch.
That was before the first
Do
Western
you
Inn.
think that, how old, I don't know how old that arch is. Do you think the covered wagons, the little pilgrim wagons went? Well, that's wrong. Pilgrims didn't go over there. They were in Massachusetts.
Oh, God. Like, everybody that listens to this show is going to wonder if we even have a high school degree, much less college degrees that we both have.
Huh. Pilgrims.
Them dang pilgrims
But you know, the
migrated
problem
west.
is, when I was a little kid, my grandfather loved John Wayne movies, and he'd go, hell to pilgrims.
John Wayne would?
That's the only thing I remember that he would say.
You ever met a pilgrim? I've met an Indian, but never a
Met a
pilgrim.
lot of Quakers, but my father and
What happened to the
grandfather were
pilgrims? You
Quakers.
think about it, they're gone. I've never met anybody who said, "Yeah, you
There's
know,
still a church.
I
and
come
it's-
from the pilgrims.
Wow, there's a
My
church
ancestors
in
were pilgrims."
New England. It's got a different name, but if you, and I've seen it when my son was up in college in Boston, the name of the church changed. You know, it was probably First Pilgrim Church of Boston.
First United Pilgrimage Church of Boston.
I don't remember their names. They had historic memorial signs. Is that what they're called? Memorial signs? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm so lost.
Let's go to, yeah.
What's the next hotel there, James?
It's
Jamie?
called the Guest Host Motel.
Guest Host
It is in
Motel.
St. Louis itself, St. Louis proper.
Heck yeah. This
And this is what's great about it. This guy didn't even stay there. Bruja Africana.
no, no, his name is Bruja Africana. Africana. I'm thinking this is made up.
He didn't want to lose his job from DoorDash.
Exactly.
He gave it a 1 out of 5, but this is what he said.
He's a DoorDash driver.
Came here to drop off a DoorDash order, and while waiting for the customer to come get their food, I got the chance to observe the environment and the cost here. And it is ridiculously expensive for a very meager and dilapidated place. Addicts and ladies of the night frequent here. Within the 5 minutes that I waited, I was able to see that this is one of those kinds of hotels that facilitate this type of behavior. Behavioral nuances. Whoa, he goes big word. Yeah,
Maybe that is his
he
real
faked
name.
his name.
Maybe that is his real name.
It could be.
They're smart.
Well, it's very well written.
Bruja sounds very smart.
It does, because I can't even say it. Or is it Ouija?
Or maybe it's
Like the Ouija board?
Burja.
Or is it a Ouija board?
It's Bruja. If anybody knows how to pronounce that correctly, please send us an audio file of it.
But then he goes down that road. I wouldn't have given this place any stars, but I had to click something to be able to write a review. You know what?
You shouldn't be reviewing it if you didn't stay here.
But he said it better. But he saw prostitutes running around.
No, he saw ladies of the night, not prostitutes. That's
Is there
just
a
ladies.
difference? I thought that was just a metaphor for prostitutes.
I don't know. I always thought it just meant.
Does that just
ladies
mean they're
outside at night.
going to the club? They're clubbing?
If they're going to the homeless gentlemen's club that we stayed across from, maybe.
What was that place called?
Homeless gentlemen's club?
We did see that guy coming out with a glass pipe and no shirt on. That was weird.
Homeless gentlemen's club. He was the bouncer. He got off work.
Oh, you think that? It was like 3 a.m., so.
Yeah, he was closing up for the night. He probably owned it. He was heading over to the underpass to go to bed.
Well, we saw tents there.
Yeah.
Which some of those tents are better than some of these hotels we reviewed.
Yeah, no, I don't know. We didn't go in those tents, nor do I want to.
Well, Bruija gives us some advice because he tells us. But he puts a question mark on it.
I don't understand that.
My advice,
question mark.
So we can question him?
Well,
It's
maybe
not
he's
solid?
even questioning his advice.
Avoid this place. This area is really, really bad. And this motel is way too expensive for the conditions this place is in. Unless you cater to that type of crowd.
Maybe.
10 stars? 0 stars. So I guess that what he's saying, if you want a prostitute, this would be a 10-star hotel.
Yeah, if you're a drug addict and you're just looking for
Oh,
some
he didn't call them prostitutes, though. He called them
ladies of the night. Yeah, if you're looking for
Lady of the night.
you're looking for a quick fix or a lady of the night, you want to go to the guest host motel.
But you can't give 10 stars. So
I don't think you can.
He's taking this a new direction.
You can't give 3 stars to a motel. If it's a motel, you shouldn't have but 2 options: 1 star, 2 star.
Pretty much.
2
Your
star
concern
means
should be bed bugs.
2 star
No bed
means you
bugs.
won't catch anything. 1 star means everything. It's getting red on the show. That's
And
what
you
that means.
don't want to have to get a tetanus shot after taking a shower. So you probably need to bring flip-flops. Like our favorite place, the Booba Beach Hole Hotel
The Beach Hole Inn.
in Dayonta.
Daytona's
That's
finest.
French for Daytona. Dayonta.
Dayonta.
I don't know. I just made it up.
Dayonta.
Now that I'm saying it like 3 times, it's stupid.
El Dayonta.
Yeah.
La Dayonta.
So now we're at the Days Inn by our favorite chain,
Wyndham.
Wyndham. We did not stay at a Wyndham in Charlotte, folks.
Heck no.
We actually eliminated. Well,
Wyndham.
actually, we made sure when we got on Priceline that Wyndham was not an option. So Nicole Riley gives it a 1 out of 5. And this was her worst experience ever, because she says that. Because I'm going to start right now. This was the worst hotel experience I've ever had. From the rude receptionist to the ashes and drug residue in my room. I want to give them 0 stars. Well, that's how you should phrase it.
Yeah, I'm
I
okay
want
with
to.
that.
I want to.
Yeah, not I
So
would.
you're on our good side now, Nicole.
She
But,
almost went down the 0 style trap.
but I have questions. Drug residue. I don't know what it looks like. How does she?
Maybe she's a recovering addict.
Okay, I'll give her that. I'll give her that. So happy I didn't try to tough it out.
Me too.
After reading other reviews, my experience is the norm here. At first, we couldn't find a reservation. I don't know what we means. Did she have to assist the clerk?
Probably. Maybe that was the drug user.
She told me to sit down until it's worked out.
Yep, she was high on some kind of drug, and she's like, "Hey,
So this clerk
I'm in the
has
happy
not
zone.
gone
Sit
to
down."
the SMI training academy
For
on
customer
service.
No.
Okay. Now that we have that, or they didn't work for Chick-fil-A either.
No, she probably worked for LB. She went to the LB Customer Service Academy.
So after she sat down, she said, "Hey, I asked for my license back." She replied, meaning the clerk, that I never gave her my license. I told her I specifically remember sliding it under the window. That's when she became mean and snapped. That I never gave it to her. There's something missing there. Did she edit it while she was driving? One wheel in it, one hand in it?
That's when she became mean and snapped that I never gave it to her and went to show me on the camera.
Where she found that I had, in fact, slid it under the window.
Boom.
Whoa, busted. You're back in our good graces, Nicole.
Yep.
She then told me rudely to remove my luggage from the cart because I wasn't a paying customer. We hadn't found my reservation yet.
Can't use our cart till we find your reservation.
Wow.
And she says we again, so it's obvious Nicole is helping the manager find the reservation because she's drugged out.
When she was getting me checked in, she asked if I wanted smoking or non-smoking. I said non-smoking and went to my room, which reeked of smoke, as we've said.
Yep.
If there's smoking there, they're all going to smell of smoke. Don't get your hopes up. Don't be disappointed. Just take half a star away in your review. I then notice ashes and drug residue on the tray under the ice bucket. See photo. Once again, she's been tempted twice if she's recovering. I mean, this is rough. I'm surprised she didn't put the tray down and snort it.
So is that the kind you saw the photo? Was it cocaine residue? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it could have been powdered sugar. Someone could have had a little donut from Krispy Kreme. I don't know.
Maybe, but then there's ashes.
I don't go around snorting things on trays, but a tray I've seen on movies from the 80s, they cut it up on a little silver tray.
Like Scarface?
Yeah, they roll it up with a $20 bill and go and then pull out their machine gun and start shooting people.
It happens.
I then took it down to the front desk, having to stick my finger in the hole. Oh, there's more.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
Of the broken off elevator button to go down.
No, that freaked me out, man.
Wow. I would have taken
I would
the
have taken the
stairs.
stairs. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a motel. It's a Days Inn by Wyndham, so at the most it's 3 floors, 4 maybe.
Yeah. I ain't sticking anything in the hole at Wyndham.
Okay.
She became angry at me for bringing the tray down. Well, doesn't the hotel own the tray? This clerk should have said, "Thank you very much. I'm sorry."
Well, I think it was the tray the ice bucket sits on to keep the water from spilling out.
Well, I thought it was the cocaine little
Maybe
silver
maybe that's
cocaine
what
tray.
it is. Maybe it's a cocaine tray and it says a Wyndham. You know, maybe they have drug paraphernalia. That
I've
comes
only
with
driven through St. Louis.
a lot of drug paraphernalia.
I didn't stop. I saw the arch from the interstate. My wife and I went to a friend of my wife's wedding in Springfield, not Illinois, Missouri.
Yeah.
And
Missouri's a screwed up state. They can't even get their own cities.
yeah, Springfield's
still
a very
everybody else's.
weird place. You got $1 million mansion next to a single wide with broken down cars in front of it.
Yeah, that's his family.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
The loser's son that couldn't get a job.
yeah, well then,
I'll put a single wide in the acre
or
to the left.
the loser's son, Larry, out there selling dope, makes a bunch of money, buys a mansion, but he don't want to leave mom and daddy's trailer site, so he builds his mansion behind their trailer. Or he buys land and moves his whole family, so all 17 trailers, to his property, and then builds his mansion behind it, and it's like a common area.
You know what would be awesome? If you're the last surviving child of that man
Then you get the mansion.
and the trailer park. You got income for the rest of your life.
See, now
17 trailers.
You have a 17 trailer park and a mansion. You've made it.
Yeah.
At that point, you've made it.
Go to the big house to pay your rent. Well, anyway, she became angry about the tray because I gave it to her in front of customers. Well, you know what? If there's drug paraphernalia, and I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, those people in the lobby probably wanted that residue.
Maybe. Yeah, that's what I mean. They're probably, hey, what are you doing with my tray? I knew I left that somewhere.
I left and won't be back. Horrible experience. I had a 3-night stay booked. Well, you should have read. I mean, I didn't read the reviews for the Beach Bum Inn.
We have learned our lesson.
I'm reading reviews.
Hey, you're about to read the Radisson review.
And I'm very critical, but it was a great experience. But first, I picked this because it's called Pontoon Beach, dude.
How is there a beach in this area?
I don't know. I looked around. It is a place, but I didn't see a beach. But it's called Pontoon Beach. But
Maybe it's painted on like the
because
marina in Miami was.
geography
It's not my
is a
strong
hobby
suit.
of mine.
It's not my strong suit.
Along the Mississippi, the river is new, thus the zigzags. Well, the river wants to get down to the Gulf of Mexico in the most efficient way, which means it has to straighten the zigzags. So that leaves what is called oxbow lakes. So I'm sitting here, I'm making assumptions, but I'm thinking at one point there was maybe an oxbow lake there, but it dried up.
Maybe. And now they call it Pontoon Beach.
But once again, that's why I'm not a geographer, because it's all assumptions. But let's go to the Motel 6, Pontoon Beach, for a nice little tour.
All right.
The Jerry Bloom. But it's only one O.
Maybe Blom.
Or is
Blom.
Blom?
Blad. Blad. I think it's another made-up last name.
Do you think he just left one O out of it so we wouldn't know who it was?
Maybe.
Maybe it was Jerry Bloom, but it's Blom.
I think it's Blom.
Blomberger? Did he take that off?
Blomberger?
I don't know. We'll do a deep dive. I'm not a skip tracer, but anyway, Jerry said front desk associate was rude, disrespectful, and we had a voucher for a free night and was told they would not take it because it doesn't process right. Mind you, we drove 4 hours and the front desk lady called her boss. And
This guy didn't use punctuation.
this is the wrong and. That's just an A-N. Should
This-
have a D.
This
And
guy was
that
obviously not a
is
math major.
what he told her. So me and my wife make multiple phones, just phones, not calls, make multiple phones to be told to have the front desk lady call the helpline for Motel 6. Now, I'm going to give Motel 6 a little credit here. It sounds like people at corporate were helping, which we don't see very often at a Motel 6. And I want to point something out to you. Don't forget the first review. Where did she go? And she said it was way better than the first Western Inn. Damn right. This is right across the freaking street.
She went to the Motel 6. They left the light on.
Well, they tried to help, at least with a voucher.
Yeah. I'll take that.
They even said they would help her process it. And once she was told that, she dropped to her knees and started banging her head on the counter. And then trying to convince us for her not to call because it could take her over an hour for someone to get on the line. She started banging her head into the counter?
No,
Was there drug residue on that counter? I've never banged my head on a counter. Well, I fell asleep once. And
sounds like this lady didn't
Yeah,
leave any
somebody
residue.
is.
She didn't leave any residue.
I don't know. There was no residue.
She cleaned that tray up.
But we got our room after. Oh, no. I'm adding correct wording here. But we got our room and after it was processed. Hold it. They used and right. Because after starts with a vowel. They're supposed to use and.
All right, let's leave math out.
That was
of
an
this
accident on their part. It was processed. She threw, THRU, the papers at my wife. Well, this shouldn't be unexpected if she's banging her head on a
Exactly.
counter.
You don't want to touch her anyway.
Said sign here, the voucher went through, that is all that matters, and said, I'm just done with you. No glad to help you, no nothing. I will never stay at a Motel 6 again. Every time we have gone, bad service.
Well, this is every time we have gone. No, you leave all the other times out of it, sir. You stick to Mr. Jerry. You leave all the other times out of it. You stick to this one occasion. You're reviewing your one stay here, not every flipping stay you've had of your whole life here. And the fact that you keep coming back to Motel 6s and having nothing but bad service, sir, that makes you the idiot, not them.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you should bang your head against the counter.
Yeah,
I
Jerry.
mean, jeez.
Jerry needs his head banged against that counter.
Now, I'm going to give you guys an example, and I might have ruined some English language here. I don't know. I didn't spell check. But This is an honest review, and I would stay at this hotel again.
Yeah, this is where we stayed at.
After the race.
That we booked randomly by spinning the wheel last week on the show.
And overall, it's a good experience. I would stay there again. And I state that. But first, James Farrow, 6 minutes ago, on Google, gave it a 3 out of 5. First things first, we will stay here again. So I make that clear. I want people to know we will stay there again. Me and my co-host, I can't speak English, I can write it. Me and my co-host Brad, for Race Car Spelled Backwards, were covering the Coca-Cola 600 for our podcast and needed a place to stay after the race. We stopped by on the way to the track at around 11:30 a.m. and talked to the gentleman at the front desk. He was very friendly. We asked him if there would be a problem if we were to check in at 3 a.m. the next morning, and he assured us we would have no problem. And I want to be clear.
No problems.
Great guy.
Yeah, and he was correct. We had no problems.
We had no problems. After an amazing race, we headed to the hotel and arrived at 2:30 a.m. The clerk then, who was a different clerk, was amazing when we arrived. Very friendly.
She was awesome.
Yeah, she was. She found that a mistake was made on our reservation and fixed it. She was sure we didn't want to sleep in the same bed, because I don't want to sleep with Brad in the same bed.
Yeah, I like you,
And
dude.
she
I don't like you
switched
that
us
much.
to 2 queens. So, great experience employee-wise. We had 2 issues with our room. First, when we entered the room, oh my goodness, I had a grammatical error. I'm so ashamed. First, when we entered the room, I should have had a comma there.
Oh, no.
It smelled like an armpit after a workout. Do you think that was a fair assessment, Brad?
Oh, it definitely smelled like an armpit after a workout. But
This seemed to dissipate after running the AC unit, and it was not on when we got there.
it did dissipate, but a new smell came out of the air conditioner.
Toe cheese.
And it smelled like toe
I
cheese.
don't know if it was because I had the same socks on for 20 hours or if it was the room. So I didn't go there because we didn't find the problem.
Literally almost asleep. Jamie's like, dude, I smell toe cheese in the room. I'm like, dude, it's us. We stink.
Yeah, so I didn't put it on
Shut
there.
up.
The only other problem we had was, second problem, I'm going to read verbatim. I'm not going to ad-lib like I started to. Second problem was when we needed to shower, there were only enough towels for one person.
No, that's not correct, though. There was no towels. All they had were those 2 hand towels.
That's true. I used the towel that was on the tub you're supposed to put down as a mat.
That's because it was a room
It wasn't
for little people.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It was an Oompa Loompa room.
It's for little people.
The toilet was almost on the floor.
shower,
And I'm not complaining.
The shower head was hitting us in the chest. And then you
Yeah.
had those little bitty towels. So that explained it. I mean,
Yeah, it was
just,
an Oompa Loompa room.
It was for little people.
It was for employees of Charlie's Chocolate Factory.
Maybe. Was there a chocolate factory nearby?
I'm sure there is. It's Charlotte. It's a very big town. It's about the size of, in my estimation, of Atlanta. Do we have a chocolate factory around?
I can honestly say this was a nice hotel. It was clean. I had no issues with that. The service were great. The people were nothing but nice.
They were fantastic. And,
The location was a little sketch, okay? I mean,
because that was their parking lot across from the...
we shared a parking lot with the Homeless Gentlemen's Clubs and Chubb's Fat Sacks Burgers.
Which doesn't make me hungry. And I love hamburgers.
I'm not eating any hamburger from Chubby Fat Sacks.
I mean, my 3 favorite food groups.
I thought it was another strip club.
Pizza, hamburgers, and hot dogs. Favorite food groups. I don't go to
But
the
you're
FDA.
not eating at Chubb's.
Yeah, I'm not having... I mean...
Chubb's Fat Sacks. Let's make sure we get the whole name in there.
I damn sure ain't eating a hot dog there. There ain't no way. But anyway, the end of my review, I say the employees here are amazing. Everyone we came into contact with had great personalities. Rating should be a 0.5 star. A 3.5 would be a true rating from me. And really, a little air freshener and another set of towels, I would have given 5 stars.
I agree. I agree 100% with this review. Like I said, the worst part of this thing was we showed up at 2:30 in the morning. They were closing the Homeless Gentlemen's Club down, and the owner come walking across the parking lot with
a glass pipe and no
with
shirt.
a crack pipe, no shirt, no shoes, heading
Do you
into the
think
woods.
it was a male stripper club?
It was a gentleman's.
But
club.
I don't go to those.
I don't know a whole lot about them either.
I mean, I asked the wife to give me a show every once in a
it
while.
said Homeless Gentlemen's Club on it, right? So
I don't think it was homeless. I think some letters were missing, and we filled that in with our brains.
Oh, I saw homeless, and then I saw Chubby Fat Sacks Burgers.
I get confused.
Maybe it was Chubby Fat Sacks Gentlemen's Club and Burger Joint.
I get confused when they call it a gentleman's club. Does that mean gentlemen are up there dancing naked, or does it mean gentlemen are watching?
No clue.
I don't know either. I don't do that.
No clue. All I know is I would not be going to the Homeless Gentlemen's Club and Chubby Fat Sacks Burger Joint.
All I can say is my wife and I make our own fun, and I don't need to pay for it.
Well, next week we're going to Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. That is located in Madison, Illinois. It is a 1.25-mile oval track. Turns 1 and 2 have 11 degrees of bankings, and turns 2 and 3 have 9 degrees of bankings. Like Jamie pointed out earlier, it does have like an egg shape, kind of like Darlington to it. It's stretched out kind of like Martinsville. So it's like if Darlington and Martinsville had a baby, you would get WWTRG or whatever.
That's too much. They need to shorten it.
Just call it.
You did it. I like what you did.
WWTR?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I actually liked it better when it's just Gateway, but it is an asphalt track. It'll hold 78,000 seating capacity, 78,000. Curtis owns the track.
Say his last name. Say it.
Francosi? I know I screwed that up. We practiced.
We talked it.
We practiced before we started recording, and I still.
But the I is before.
I want to say Francosi like he's a mafia guy, but it's
Franco.
It's Frank.
Isn't the O fully pronounced when it's followed by I?
Maybe it's Francois.
If anyone out there is an English teacher,
Or if anybody knows Curtis's last name, let us know.
tweet us. You know what? We need to start a Facebook page.
I don't know.
Send us a I don't do Facebook.
I don't either. Just tweet us.
Send us a Facebook, and we'll start our own page because you sent us something. It doesn't work that way, does it?
No. Just tweet us. All right. First race was 1967. The track started out as a drag strip, then changed into a road course, and then changed into an oval back in the 90s. Actually, it was like 95 it became an oval. First Cup race is this weekend. 2022 will be the first Cup race there. It's hard for me to put statisticals together for this track because we have never run there. So basically, when I was putting my fantasy picks together, I just went to Richmond and Phoenix because in my mind, this is going to be a lot like Richmond, Phoenix. I don't want to say Martinsville because Martinsville sucked.
I hope
Richmond and Phoenix were not much better. They were like one notch above Martinsville, but I have a feeling it's going to be like that. I hope not, but I have a feeling. Chase Briscoe won it at Phoenix earlier this year, and Denny Hamlin won it at Richmond earlier this year. So, for my four fantasy picks for this weekend, I'm going to go Denny Hamlin.
Is that because you like Denny now?
No, it's because he won Richmond.
He also won the 600.
Yeah, well, that has nothing to...
You think he's on a roll?
Yeah, that was what I picked Denny because, one, momentum. Two, he usually runs good at Richmond. And he won earlier there this year, so I'm thinking he's going to do good here. Kyle Busch, because Kyle Busch runs good everywhere, but I think Kyle's probably got the most experience from trucks and Xfinity cars here. Daniel Suarez, because I'm tired of picking Tyler Reddick and him having issues, so I'm thinking that Chase Elliott curse we have, maybe slipping over to Tyler. So I skipped him. I'm going to go with Daniel. And then I'm going to go with Alex Bowman. I really don't know why, but that's who I want to go with this week.
Because you met his parents.
No, that was William.
Oh, shoot.
So I'm going to go
Maybe
with
I should listen more to our podcast.
Denny, Kyle, Daniel, and Alex. Who do you got, Jamie?
I'm going with Kurt Busch as my number one pick.
All right.
My second pick is going to be Daniel Suarez.
All right.
Third, Chase Briscoe, because he won Phoenix.
Okay.
Fourth, I'm going with Denny.
Because you like him now?
Because I like him now. Has nothing to do with any of his previous wins.
Care less about that.
Yeah. But, Denny, I hope you start listening to us. I will be critical of anyone. You can ask Brad, even if I like you.
Oh, you screw up, Denny, we're going to call you out.
Yeah.
Just like anybody. You screw up, we're going to call you out.
Yeah.
So, again, shout out to everybody we met this weekend. Thanks for everything. It was awesome. Big thanks to Bob Pockers, Claire B., Mamba. Y'all were great. Appreciate everything, all the time you gave to us. I mean, time is money, and you gave us some of your time, and we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, and thanks to Marcus and Humpy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And now I know his last name.
And now you know what Marcus looks like.
I Googled his image yesterday
But
after my nap.
After you knew what he looked like there.
And I was like, yeah, that is him. So, and thank you to SMI for allowing us to be there. It was amazing. I want to do it again. We will apply for Media Pass again. But more importantly, thanks to those that listen and follow us on Twitter. You guys are awesome. You're the reason why we were able to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everybody. I mean, we appreciate it. So, like you said, thanks for all our people who follow us on Twitter. That's @CarBackwards on Twitter. If you don't follow us, make sure you start following us. Check us out on Spotify. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review there. And check out our website, racecarbackwards.com, which here in the coming weeks, we're going to be revamping that website. So definitely take a look at it now so when we do change it, you'll know what changes we made.
But all our podcasts will be there.
Oh, yeah. But other than that, that's all I got this week. Jamie, you got anything else before we close?
Yeah, what episode is this?
This is episode 17, and we turned the fan off.
And, so this is 17.
Yeah, I change it at the end of every episode. We have a chalkboard in our studio where we record at, and after the end of every episode, I now change it so we always know what episode we're on. So this is episode 17. We're closing out. Next week will be 18, and we remembered to turn the fan off so we have no fan noise in this episode.
But it's 90 degrees outside. But it's just for FYI.
One day we'll get air conditioner.
And hopefully before this year's over, we're going to get a YouTube channel.
Yes.
We're going to move our seats from facing our posters, and they're actually all Brad's. I'll have to bring some of my cars. But we are going to put this podcast on a YouTube channel at some point in the near future.
So stay tuned, everybody.
But remember, Brad is technologically challenged.
No, I'm just
and he
math
looks
challenged.
Great when you compare how I use technology. Because I'm basically the hammer guy.
My kids still help me.
Mine do it all for me.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Have a good week, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to a race car spelled backwards.